When you think about the moon, what comes to mind? For most of us, it's those iconic images, right? The vast, dusty plains from the Apollo missions. But for the Artemis III crew, the first humans to head back in over 50 years, NASA is not playing it safe. They're skipping those familiar spots and aiming for somewhere, well, somewhere a whole lot more dangerous.
Yeah, this is the moon we all know. Bright, relatively flat, covered in that classic gray dust. It's where Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin made history. And look, it was a massive challenge, no doubt. But looking back, it was kind of the safe choice. The perfect place to prove we could actually get there. And, more importantly, get back home. So why in the world is the next giant leap for humankind aimed at a place that's dark, incredibly rugged, and dangerously cold? Why send astronauts to the lunar South Pole, a place that makes the Apollo sites look like a walk in the park?
Well, to really get the answer, we have to look at a huge strategic pivot that happened right back here on Earth. Because just recently, NASA's entire game plan for lunar exploration was completely rewritten.
Okay, so the original plan was all built around this, the Lunar Gateway. Think of it as a small-scale international space station, but orbiting the moon. It was designed to be the essential middleman, a logistics hub and a staging point for all missions heading down to the surface. It was the architectural cornerstone of the entire Artemis program.
And then it was cut. In a really major strategic shift, NASA scrapped the gateway for these initial landings. Now, this wasn't just some minor tweak, this was a complete overhaul of the mission, shifting the focus away from orbit and directly onto the lunar surface. So you can really see the difference here. The old Orbit First plan was all about building that hub in the sky before heading down. The new Surface First plan, it just scraps the middleman. The goal now is to get boots on the ground as fast as possible and start building the foundation for a permanent moon base.
So, why the sudden change of heart? Well, it really boiled down to a perfect storm of pressure. First, the clock was ticking. Key parts of the program were facing some serious delays. Second, money was tight, and NASA needed to fund projects that had immediate results. And finally, there's the new space race. With China planning its own lunar base, establishing a foothold became a top priority. Now this surface-first strategy puts an incredible amount of pressure on picking the absolute perfect landing spot, which brings us to NASA's high-risk, high-reward shortlist of destinations for Artemis III. After a whole lot of analysis, NASA has narrowed it down to just 9 candidate landing regions, and they're all clustered around the moon's south pole. This is it. This is where the future of lunar exploration is going to begin.
And these locations have names that sound like they're straight out of a sci-fi novel. Malapert Massif, Nobile Rim, Haworth. But these are not just points on a map. They are distinct geological zones, and each one has its own unique mix of treasure and treachery.
And as NASA's Artemis lunar science lead, Sarah Noble, said, this is a completely different environment. This isn't your grandfather's moon. It's an entirely new world with new rules and new dangers. So how do you even choose a landing site in a landscape this alien? Well, a team of scientists and engineers had to balance 5 critical factors for each region. You need great science, of course, but you also need a safe place to land. You have to be able to talk to Earth, but you also need just the right amount of light and, crucially, just the right amount of darkness.
And this is why they're targeting the South Pole. It's home to these incredible features called permanently shadowed regions, or PSRs. Now get this, these are craters and depressions that have been locked in a deep freeze for billions of years, making them some of the coldest places we know of in the entire solar system. Landing near one of these is a massive technical challenge. You've got extreme temperatures and long, dark shadows that can hide dangerous terrain. So what could possibly be worth all of that risk? What's the prize hiding there in the dark? Water ice, trillions of pounds of it, perfectly preserved in the cold traps of these PSRs. This is the one resource that changes everything. You see, this one resource unlocks the entire long-term vision. Step 1, land near a PSR. Step 2, figure out how to mine the ice. Step 3, process that ice into drinking water, breathable air, and critically, rocket fuel. And all of this leads to the final goal, building a permanent human base on the moon. And it's not even just about the water. Because these areas are so old and untouched, they are basically geological time capsules. Studying the rocks here could reveal secrets about the formation of the Earth-Moon system and the history of our entire solar system.
So you see how it all connects? The surface-first strategy, the focus on the South Pole, and the hunt for water ice all lead to this moment. It is the ultimate gamble, but it's one that could kickstart an entirely new era of exploration.
This historic mission will be carried out by the Starship Human Landing System, and it's going to deliver the first woman and the first person of color to the lunar surface, a crew that represents all of humanity taking this next step.
So the crucial point to take away is this. Artemis III is more than just a repeat of Apollo. By targeting the resources of the South Pole, NASA is fundamentally changing our relationship with the moon. It's no longer just a destination to visit, it's becoming a place to live, to work, and to prepare for our next journey out into the solar system.
But it all hinges on this first, incredibly difficult landing. It's without a doubt NASA's biggest gamble in decades. Which leaves us with the ultimate question. Is the promise of water, science, and a permanent home on the moon worth the extraordinary risk?